Nanga Parbat has killed more climbers per summit attempt than any other 8,000er, earning it the name Killer Mountain. And in June 2013, this reputation turned into horror when gunmen climbed to base camp in the middle of the night and executed 11 mountaineers while they slept in their tents. This is the 9th highest mountain on Earth, standing over 26,000 feet in Pakistan's western Himalayas. And today, I'm revealing why climbers call this peak a death sentence, what happened during that night of terror, and why people still come here knowing they might not leave alive. Nanga Parbat rises from the Indus River Valley in northern Pakistan, its massive Rupal Face forming the highest mountain wall on Earth. Today, you'll discover why this mountain kills climbers at nearly twice the rate of Everest, how terrorism turned base camp into a massacre site, and why the deadliest route on this peak is called the mountain's way of choosing who lives and who dies. June 22, 2013. 11 climbers from Ukraine, China, Russia, Slovakia, and Nepal are sleeping at Nanga Parbat base camp at 14,000 feet. It's late evening. Most expeditions have finished dinner and retreated to their tents. The night is clear and cold. Then, around 11 p.m., a group of armed men appears from the darkness. They're not climbers. They're wearing local clothes, carrying assault rifles, and they know exactly which tents to target. You're one of the climbers in base camp that night. You've spent weeks acclimatizing, preparing for your summit push. Base camp feels safe, a temporary village of colorful tents where teams from different countries share meals and swap stories. The real danger is up there, on the mountain, where avalanches and crevasses wait. Down here, surrounded by other climbers and support staff, you feel protected. That assumption is about to get people killed. The gunmen move methodically through camp. They identify the foreign climbers' tents and order everyone outside. Some climbers comply immediately, stumbling out in their sleeping bags, confused and terrified. Others refuse, thinking this might be a robbery they can wait out. The gunmen open fire. Tent fabric does nothing against bullets. The sound of automatic weapons echoes off the surrounding peaks, shattering the silence of the high Himalayas. Within minutes, 11 people are dead, 10 climbers, and 1 local guide. The attackers are members of Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, the Pakistani Taliban, who later claim responsibility, stating this was revenge for a US drone strike that killed their leader. They chose Nanga Parbat because it's isolated, because foreign climbers are easy targets, and because they knew the psychological impact would be devastating. Mountains are supposed to be the danger, not humans. The surviving climbers and support staff hide in the darkness, listening to the gunmen search camp for more victims. Some lie motionless among the dead, playing corpse, praying they won't be discovered. Others flee into the night, running down the glacier in the darkness without gear, without warm clothes, risking crevasse falls to escape the massacre. The attackers eventually withdraw, hiking back down the mountain the same way they came, disappearing into the valleys below before any rescue or military response can arrive. Would you continue climbing a mountain where you might be murdered at base camp by terrorists who hiked for hours specifically to kill you? The massacre was unprecedented in mountaineering history. Base camps are sanctuaries, neutral ground where nationality and politics don't matter. Climbers from countries that are political enemies share equipment, food, and rescue efforts. The unwritten rule is that mountains are dangerous enough without adding human violence. The attack on Nanga Parbat shattered that assumption and sent shockwaves through the global climbing community. But here's the disturbing reality. The Taliban attack wasn't even the deadliest incident in Nanga Parbat's history. The mountain itself has killed far more people, and it's been doing so systematically since the first summit attempt in 1895. Nanga Parbat has a fatality rate of approximately 22%. For context, Everest's fatality rate is around 4%. K2, the world's second highest peak and widely considered the most technically difficult, has a fatality rate of around 25%. Nanga Parbat is nearly as deadly as K2, despite being less famous and less frequently attempted. The mountain kills through avalanches, rockfall, sudden weather changes, and exhaustion. The Diamir Face, on the mountain's western side, is where most modern expeditions attempt the summit. It's considered the easiest route, but easy is relative at this altitude. Climbers still face technical ice walls, avalanche-prone slopes, and the brutal altitude where every breath is a struggle and frostbite can take fingers and toes in minutes. Then there's the Rupal Face, the mountain's south side, which rises over 15,000 feet from base to summit in a single continuous wall. It's the highest mountain face on Earth, a nearly vertical expanse of rock, ice, and snow that climbers describe as suicidal. Only a handful of expeditions have successfully climbed the Rupal Face, and many who attempted it never came back. The face generates its own weather, creating sudden storms that trap climbers with no escape route. The deadliest single incident before the 2013 massacre occurred in 1937, when 16 climbers and porters died in an avalanche on the mountain's rocky-out face. The entire German expedition, along with their Sherpa support team, was wiped out in seconds when a massive snowslide buried their camp. It took days for rescue teams to reach the site, and by then, everyone was dead. The mountain has claimed over 70 lives since serious climbing attempts began, and that number doesn't include porters and support staff, whose deaths often go unrecorded. Nanga Parbat's isolation makes rescue nearly impossible. The mountain sits in a region with limited infrastructure, far from major cities or hospitals. If something goes wrong above 20,000 feet, you're on your own. Helicopter rescues are rare and only possible in perfect weather conditions, which are uncommon. Most climbers who get into serious trouble either self-rescue or die trying. The political situation adds another layer of danger. Nanga Parbat is located in Gilgit-Baltistan, a disputed territory claimed by both Pakistan and India. The region has active insurgent groups, as the 2013 attack proved. Foreign climbers require extensive permits and often military escorts just to reach base camp. The journey to the mountain takes days through remote valleys, where government control is minimal and Taliban influence is significant. After the massacre, climbing permits to Nanga Parbat dropped dramatically. Expeditions were canceled. Insurance companies refused coverage. The Pakistani government increased security, assigning armed guards to base camp during climbing season. But the damage to the mountain's reputation was done. Climbers willing to risk avalanches and altitude sickness aren't always willing to risk being shot while they sleep. Yet, climbers keep coming. Not in the numbers that flock to Everest, but enough to maintain Nanga Parbat's status as one of the world's great mountaineering challenges. They come because summiting this peak means something different than summiting Everest. Everest has become commercialized, guided tours for wealthy amateurs. Nanga Parbat remains wild, dangerous, honest about what it is. The mountain doesn't lie about the risks. It kills openly, frequently, and without discrimination. It doesn't care if you're an elite alpinist or a novice. It doesn't care about your experience or your equipment. If you make a mistake, if the weather turns, if an avalanche releases above you, you die. That brutal honesty is what draws a certain type of climber. People who want to test themselves against something genuinely dangerous, something that can't be conquered with money or corporate sponsorship. The 11 climbers who died in the 2013 attack didn't come to Nanga Parbat expecting to be murdered. They came expecting the mountain to be the danger. They prepared for altitude sickness, frostbite, avalanches. They didn't prepare for gunmen executing them at base camp. And that's perhaps the cruelest aspect of their deaths. They were killed before they even got to attempt the summit. Before they got to face the challenge they traveled halfway around the world to confront. Nanga Parbat still stands at 26,658 feet, its summit wrapped in clouds and ice, indifferent to human tragedy. The Killer Mountain earned its name long before terrorists climbed to base camp, and it will keep that name long after the world forgets the massacre. Because the mountain doesn't need human violence to be deadly. It's perfectly capable of killing climbers all by itself.